Ali DXB9 would like Craig to talk about the recent Ferrari engine failure.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the moment, not a lot of detail has come out. I think I had seen a quote accredited to Binotto saying it was the same failure as Leclerc had in Baku, which is interesting. I think they're both turbocharger failures.
A lot of oil in Sainz's case, obviously, with the fire.
Yeah, well, when a turbocharger goes, they are absolutely full of oil. They have their own dedicated oil supply at high pressure. So when it all starts to fall to pieces, all that oil comes out. And as we remember from the turbo era in the 80s, when a turbo fails, it normally comes with a huge amount of fire subsequently, rather than it immediately being a fire. It tends to come slightly after the fact, which again makes me feel that was very much a turbo failure. So I think the problem they have is obviously there's certain circuits that really stress a turbo. So that would be circuits with those with very long straights, very high top speeds, and equally those circuits with a bit of altitude, because the higher the altitude, the further the air, the faster the turbo spins. So we've seen it at Baku, a flat out circuit. We've seen it at Austria, which while not a particularly flat out circuit, is at elevated altitudes. What does this mean? Ferrari needs to get a fix for this quite quickly, because we have coming up flat out at Belgium, you have flat out at Monza, you have Mexico coming up, plus all the other relatively high-speed circuits to finish off the season. Now, Ferrari can make changes for reliability reasons to their turbocharger. No doubt this potentially would also improve the performance of their turbocharger. So in some respects, they probably aren't really crying to themselves over having to do this, because if it makes the engine more robust through the second half of the season, then so much the better for chasing after Red Bull, especially now as we've seen Ferrari with an improved top speed from the change in their rear wing. So they really do have that kind of downforce and high speed balance that Red Bull have had and Ferrari have been slightly skewed from for the first part of this year. So I think hopefully this is the last chapter in the engine failures. Ferrari introduce the revised turbo. They're also allowed to introduce some revised hybrid units into the power unit package, because the cut-off date is coming up for those now. So yeah, but that will be equal to all the other teams will be doing as well. So it's still very much a power unit championship. Everyone's fighting against each other. Reliability will be an issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if lots of teams, particularly power teams, have some penalties in the second half of the season as they start to get through those components.